Hi, it's Rick Prescott here talking about my book, Save the Beatles. And in this video I want to talk a little bit about the research that I did to create all the documentation. Mostly because the research, as time goes on, more and more information becomes available on how and when the Beatles and the former Beatles did their recording. Where they were, where the songs were written, when the songs were written. But there are kind of frustrating holes in that. You can only ever get so detailed about those, especially as they moved from studios at Abbey Road and other public studios into their own private studios. Once they're in their own private studios, if there's documentation, often it isn't accessible. So I settled on a few sources, some on the internet, some in books. A lot of times there are disagreements between those. I had to sort of make a call. The Lost Lennon tapes programs, which I listened to every Sunday morning during the late '80s, they provide a lot of documentation for when John recorded various demos, and that information I used in order to figure out what his contributions might have been during those Dakota years, which songs would have been available at which times. I had to realize that my goal was really just to get close approximations, that I was never going to get everything exact. And so one of the things I did is I sort of I went just to the month and year of something versus the actual date. I didn't really care whether it was the 15th of the month, the 30th, or the 1st, or whatever. I really just cared that it happened in October of 1973, or whatever that may be. I know that for some people that's an unacceptably broad level of granularity. For me, it was enough. And I realized that there were actually very few cases where tracks could have fallen into two different fusion eras. For the most part, it was pretty easy to tell that even if I didn't have an actual date of recording, it would fall into this period or that period. And so a certain amount of detail was not actually required. But I did also research things like when they were written, when and where, and I used interview archives to try and find how the Beatles were reacting to each other in real time, and I drew from those for the quote section of this book. The quote sections, there's a little quote section in each chapter. There's an awful lot of information, and it seems like over time only more information becomes available. I'm quite sure that in time some of what I have done here will be superseded, and I will be very happy to add detail as it comes along. I'm also very happy to make corrections as those become available, but the intention was so that you have this information. It serves as a reference in addition to maybe fueling your own thought experiments about how you might take solo Beatles tracks and turn them into fused meta-Beatles albums. We should all have fun with the Beatle tracks. It's one of the great things about the music is that it's a pleasure to play around with. So that's the whole point of this project. Project is Save the Beatles. You can find more information and links to purchase the book at savethebeatles.com. Thanks for watching.